everybody, Captain Bill Saiff III on the back deck of the pride of the fleet, the one they call Safe Charter 4. Mike Prevost, my buddy right here, my neighbor from Pillar Point, and he's locked right up on a big trout right here. Today's video, we are bringing you the do's and don'ts for late season lake trout. Helping me here today, my old buddy Frank Kolbach, working on it here just a little bit. Should be pretty good. You want to run her to the right just a little bit, Frank? Just give me a little wheel to the right. How's it feel, Mike?
Good.
Kind of a
heavy,
medium-sized one here, I think, coming up. Didn't take long. That one's on a sunburst bell. We'll show you a couple different sizes. Some hammerhead bells we're running here today. This is a 5.0. Today, guys, this is the YouTube video that you want to watch when it comes to late August and September on these lake trout. This is the piece that you need to use a little bit to the right, Frank, because these fish will slip into a different mode. They'll migrate. They're getting ready to shut down and spawn the big fish, and this is your last opportunity to get into giant lakers. So we're not only going to take them on cowbells in this edition of the video, but we're also going to take them on flashers and flies, and we're going to show you how to pick the proper bait to be successful. Here it is right here. There it goes right there. You just saw it pop. Get on. We got two cowbells down, and we're locked on already. 2 ways around here. That's a good way to start in the morning with a double like that. This is exactly what we were hoping to achieve in this video here today, and it started right out, bing bang boom, right off the bat. Perfect. Yeah, just like that, Mike. You're doing great. No, that's all you got on that one, Frank. You're good there. Keep them coming right here. I'm going to give you a little wheel to the right just for a second. There it is. The old number 4, right up to, stay right here. Wind down again. Okay, now raise them. Put them right in the basket, Frank. Raise them up. Mike, back up. Oh, there's a dandy of a trout right there. Just an absolute beast of a lake trout. Look at the size of that. That's a good way to start with like a 17-pounder spinner right there. We're on a bumblebee with a 2-tone green, and you can see the green on the back, stretching it back, and he's in the corner of the mouth, but still up towards the front. So that's a perfect example of a micro spinner setup, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Let's get him out. Look at the size of that giant lake trout. Mike Prevost, marvelous job with the rod. Well done. Let's dip him over the side, okay? We can go right there, put him right in head first. Push him right in and let that big guy go, dump him right in. We still got him on, Frank. A little bit to the left, Mike. We'll angle right for the stack. Still got him, big boy?
Oh, yeah.
All right, perfect. Well done. First bite on a sunburst bell. Let's take a look at this. There's the panel that we're using right there. That's the sunburst bell. And you saw the spinner that we're using behind that. That's been deadly down the chute every day that we fish lake trout. And then the watermelon bell has been extremely solid as well. And that's what this trout's coming on. This is more of a nursery fish, a little bit to the left here, Mike, just a bit. And come on back, Mike, and I'll have you net this. Grab that net right there. Lift it straight out. Perfect. Here he comes. Frankie will lead him right to you here just a second. Hold on. There you go. Dip under him. Perfect. Look at this. Nice under lake trout. If you were going to smoke a fish or fillet a fish, that would be a perfect size. Let's take a look here again on chartreuse. Silver red dot with a 2-tone green spinner on the back. And all the way down in the mouth. That's why you want to drop down and 3-beat it back. Here's a perfect example. There's the Wonder Bread. That's what we're getting them on. Let's take a look at this fish. Beautiful lake trout right there. 2 rods in, 2 fish on. Let's put them in head first right there quick, Frank, if we can. Go ahead. Boom, and he's out of there. One of the things that you want to try to do when you're fishing lake trout here, gang, is get them under that plate, grab them at the base of the tail, they have a protective slime. They're actually not a trout. They're a member of the char family, and that protective slime keeps the surface of their skin protected from parasitic growth. So you want to be careful not to handle them on the body as much as possible, and try to grab a quick picture of them, get them head first right back into the water, and almost every lake trout that you catch will go down without incident. Have a look here, folks. This is a perfect example of what we call a micro spinner rig. These are little number 4 or number 6. I'm not sure that size. It's small, but in the Yakima Spin N Glo lineup. And what we're doing is we're color coordinating here. This one is one of the most famous spinners for lake trout. That's two-tone green, and here you've got orange and chartreuse. So we can run this with a sunburst spell, we can run this with any kind of chartreuse spell, and it's going to work perfectly. Here you can see we've got 20-pound big game going to a number 2 round nose snap. That's 32 inches, that leader. And then back here we're running 3 beads. We've got a green, a bright orange, and a dull orange bead. 3 beads stretched back to a number 2 hook using an improved clinch, or what they refer to as a trilene knot here on this hook. That micro spinner is nice, and the reason that we put those 3 beads back is that in the fall of the year and late season, especially when lake trout are moving from deep water into shallow water, instead of fishing them in 150, 160, 170, or even 180 feet of water, a little bit to the left here, Mike, we'll start sliding in and working in on the edge in 110, 120, 130 feet of water. And that's exactly where we started today. 125, 130 feet of water. Barely got 2 rods in the water, and we had a double. Why 3 beads on that hook? Sometimes we put a single, sometimes we put 2, sometimes we put 3. But imagine this coming through the water. If you're a regular viewer of our YouTube videos, you'll know that I've talked about this in the past. That's what it looks like in the water. These spinners are attracting those trout in. They come in the cowbells, they see this Spin N Glo combination 32 inches behind the cowbell, and as they approach it, even in a more lethargic, non-dynamic state of feeding, they'll come in and they'll start nipping. As they start to move up on this, look what happens. Look what happens. The hook is already in their mouth, even before they get to the spinner. So putting 3 beads back behind it like that is just stretching the hook. It's almost putting it in a position that we would refer to as a stinger or a cheater hook. And all you have to do to get that hook back there is just add a couple more beads behind the spinners. Now when that trout comes in, as he opens his mouth to feed on that, bingo, he's already got the hook in it. So instead of nipping and maybe missing that bait, he's got it an inch or 2 into his mouth. So when they're a bit lethargic, when they're getting ready to shut down pre-spawn, this is the kind of thing that is going to keep you productive and keep those rods bouncing all day long when other people are struggling on those baits. Tank's treasure back on again, Frankie.
Yep.
That is proof in the pudding right there. Cowbells are fantastic, but there comes a time when flashers are the key. Especially when those fish move back into the trench here. If we got warm water and they're down there on that 110, 120 foot grade, it's flasher central. Once you get to late August and the early part of September, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I'm liking these colors in the Salmon Candy. Colors.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really good colors, and we're gonna show everybody.
That black eyed peas we lost was...
That's breaking my heart.
That was a beautiful. You and I both looked at that and seen trout all over it.
Yeah, that was a really good flasher for sure. Yeah, step right in here to the corner, Mike. Keep the rod tip way out to the right. We'll keep them out of those other lines. That's it. Good, right there, Frank. You're good. Look at that thing. Look at that guy swale that rod. That cold water. It's a good fight. There he comes. Nice trout. Nice one. Wind down a little bit more, Mike. Wind down. Easy. Okay, easy. Get him, Frank. That's the ticket right there, guys. Back right up. Look at that. What a beauty. There it is, right there. Just a beauty. Get him right up. Look at that. We missed with the cheater hook, but we had him in the nose. Check out this tank's treasure, guys. Look at that. Got that green. Got that green stripe across there. We've got that iridescent green panel like the meat market, but look at this, white with cracked ice glow on the back. Man, you got it going both ways. If they want the silver and the green, you got it. You know the propensity for lake trout to hit white late in the year. That tank's treasure's got everything. That's a phenomenal king flasher too. Let's have a look at that trout, buddy.
Still some spunky.
Hold him right up there. Look at that guy. Look at that. He is hammering. He wants out. Better let him go. Let's toss him right off the back, Frank. Let's talk a little bit in today's program about flashers and when to use them to target late season lakers. You can see I've got a box right here of Salmon Candy flashers, a whole variety of different flashers still in the package. And the reason that we do is there are so many more flashers up on Lake Michigan that are being used than here on Lake Ontario that have different names and strange names. And we want to make sure that we convey the proper information to you. So I keep them right in the packages as I draw them out. Now some of them correspond, you know, identically to flashers that are getting run out here on Lake Ontario, but Russ Gahagan and the guys at Salmon Candy, they put these boxes together for old B3 so that we've got exactly what we need. And here's what we're using in today's program. We had a great silver plate with black-eyed peas, it was called, and we got stuck on a tree limb or a cable or something like that on number one today, and we lost that. But what we ended up doing was we ended up running one of the BSO Hulk flies, this position. This is called Tanker's Treasure. Typical green, we got a little glow, darker Kelly green across the top of it, almost like a pig pen color here in the center. And then look at here on the back, we've got white with cracked ice glow. That was a very dominant flasher once we switched that. The big fish that we took at the end of the day came on this particular bait. The bait that we started out with this morning was a perfect example of what we needed. We have noticed that this year in particular, silvers and silver greens are working great. But when you get into late season lakers and you're trying to trick those fish from late August on into the month of September, one of the baits that's extremely hard to beat is white. This one happens to be an E-chip flasher right here. Silver lead back, it's got the E-chip, but there's the glow cracked ice glow with another glow panel, glow tree over the top of it. Normally, this would be the dominant go-to bait on late season lakers that are tough to hit. We have not had that be the case this year, but that's one you want to put in the memory bank. Here is the original dragon that I came up with 20 years ago. Straight silver herringbone, both sides. Again, this one happens to be an E-chip panel. This one's got the Kelly green ladder back on it. That would have been an excellent draw in today's video as well. That thing's been a big producer. Russ Gahagan is also making this in the Salmon Candy lineup, but he's doing the straight dragon, he's doing a UV panel on the back that he calls a UV dragon, and he's doing a glow cracked ice panel on the back that's called the glow dragon. Any one of those three are going to be a great draw for late season lakers. If you want to throw a variation at them, look at here. Here's the green plastic on that particular blade, green plastic, but we've got the silver herringbone and the Kelly green dragon. We've got that ladder back on the front, but on the back, cracked ice, white glow. So we know white, we know silvers are working very good. That's going to be a swing bait if you want to have a quality flasher. That this one he's calling a glow green dragon on the green flasher. That will be a good swing bait. And then here's the other one that's going to be very dynamic because we're on a white plastic blade. We've got cracked ice glow on this side, but let's flip this thing over and look what we've got on the front. Still white, but we've got, this is called a white stud UV, and you've got that green, you've got that, you got that stud material right here. that makes it the stud UV, and then the partial ladder back coming out underneath it. So that's going to be a very dynamic bait for late season lake trout as well. This one in the package, that's what it looks like when it comes straight from Salmon Candy, white with a cracked ice glow on the back. Any of those particular baits are going to be dominant when you're trying to catch those late season lakers. And of course, as you saw in today's program, you lay Tanker's Treasure in there with it in addition, and you got 5 really good quality baits. And don't forget in that Salmon Candy lineup what we started the day with, and that was that silver plate with the black-eyed peas. All 5 of those plus the black-eyed peas would be good choices when you're targeting late season lakers. And whatever the reason, and I can't tell you what it is, but along about the 26th, the 28th of August and on into the early days of September, as these big fish move in shallower and they begin to go off the hit because they're coming in, they're a fall spawner, a lot of days they are going to be picking on those flasher fly combinations even more than they are on cowbells and spinners. Today I still think cowbells and spinners were a little bit more attractive to the fish, but we had some dandy lakers on the flashers and flies in addition. But there are plenty of days coming up in the fall of the year where flashers and flies will outproduce the cowbells. So you need to make sure that you have the right colors and that you have them loaded and ready to go, because you don't want to be out of the box on the day when those lake trout switch their attitude a little bit and want the flasher and fly. You want to have both things loaded and ready to go, and running them in combination is absolutely appropriate, just like we did today. 2 cowbells on 3 and 4 and a flasher and fly tight fish the same way on number 1, and we were productive all the way across the board. Those are the things that you need to know and the things that you need to have in your arsenal for late season lakers. Mike Prevost locked in battle once again on a 5-0 Wonder Bread. This one's on fire. We had Tanker's Treasure, that Salmon Candy flasher set right there on number 1. I lowered it down to touch bottom. He took it right out of my hand and I missed him. He came in and grabbed that Hulk fly. I missed him. Here you go, right here. Here you go, Frank. That bottom, there it is, right there. Boom, just popped and hit right there. And there's the double right there, another double. I swear we should have called this program the Doubles Factory. He's on heavy right there into the sun. Mike Prevost is locked. There's that fish, Mike Prevost. Oh God, that's it. You know what, Mike? Yeah. There you go. It's all right. That thing is hammering. Wind down, here comes that Wonder Bread belt. Big giant laker, just a beauty. Back, ease him right back up, Mike, right there, stop whining. Get him, Frank. Nice fish. Keep your rod tip high, Mike. Look at this, another 15, 16 pounder. Give him a flip. Ah, perfect, look at that. Just an absolute jumbo stud of a trout. There it is. Chartreuse red dot and 2-tone mini green with the three beads. Yep. Yeah, that's perfect. Back right up with Mike right over there on that side, Frank, and show him to me. Good fish. Get right in there, dude. Look at that, another blind trout. That one hit on the right side. What is it with you guys in blind trout today? See this right here with the left pet clip? Face them to the north. That means that's a Canadian stock fish right there, boys. Oh, I know this one's pounding line. Let's put him in the water. We'll get him right in. Beautiful, there he goes. All right, let's lock on this guy. Move him over to the right a little bit, Frank. Big fish. You on the wheel, Mike? Huh? You on the wheel? Okay. Perfect. What's our speed here, sir? 1.6. Perfect. We're back on the action, and Frank says this guy's going to be over 20. We're waiting to see.
Thought that last one was too, but I meant 20 inches.
This goes against power.
Dialed in here pretty good on these fish right now. Mike Primos, what's our speed?
1.314.
All right. Good.
Come a little now.
One of the things everybody should know about coming to fish Lake Ontario like this is the eastern end is so wrought with good structure that the truth of the matter is there's probably no place in the lower 48 states that's finer for catching gigantic lake trout than the structure that's here in the eastern end of Lake Ontario. And as exhibited by the big trout that we're taking today in this video, it's a phenomenal time. And really any time, in my personal opinion, from mid-May all the way to mid-September. We'll continue to catch them till the end of September when lake trout season closes. But a lot of times you'll get nursery fish later in the month, which are fun to catch. It's not as big as some of the tankers that we're catching today. But in the early years, if you caught a fish that was 14 or 15 pounds, it would make the papers. Now we catch fish that are over 20 pounds on a daily basis. Last week, Frank, when we were doing the live feed out there, I had 3 over 20 pounds on at the same time, which is just unheard of. And the big fish that we landed in that live feed was 25 pounds.
That's a good one.
So Scott Durant, one of our independents that just passed me on the outside, he had a laker this about a month ago that was 36 pounds.
Yep.
Absolute gigantic fish. Here is a dandy of a lake trout coming in right now. Give him, let him get right in tight with him, Mike, before we dip this one, because he's big. Start backing him when you can, Frank. We're good right there. Easy, Mike, easy, easy. And dip way under him now, way under, and go. That's it, perfect. Big, gigantic trout. See the size of that beast laying in the net. He is just an absolute hammer. That is a big, 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 beautiful lake trout right there.
Come on, buddy. He's not happy.
Yeah, man, oh man. Look at the hook right there. 2 barbs in him in the end. We could have dragged him all the way to Henderson, but still 3 beading it back. That makes such a difference in being able to hold those big fish. Go ahead and get him right up, Frank, and we'll pose that fish right here. He is, yeah, he is just an absolute tank. That's what it's like catching these big fish. Mike, hop right in behind him there if you would. That's what it's like catching these big fish, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's YouTube video, taking a look at flashers and flies and cowbell combinations for late season Lakers. Boys, it was a success.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you, Bill.
Well done. Let's get him off the hook. We'll get him in the water and we'll call it a day. Great job, boys.